Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ray Main here again with another informative video for you. If you're a subscriber of mine, you already know that I have shared several of our team calls, the Bitcoin funding team. But I want to tell you something. I've got something for you today that is going to absolutely blow your socks off. If you are uncertain or you don't know what Bitcoin is, if you're uncertain about it, you don't know the information that you need for it, you don't know anything about the blockchain technology, the first 20 minutes of this call is absolutely going to blow your mind. It is the best definition, the best explanation of what Bitcoin actually is and what it can do for you that I've ever heard. The next 20 minutes is talking about our system. It has our founder, the founder of the Bitcoin funding team, the system that he has put into place, what his vision is for his baby, the Bitcoin funding team, what his vision is, what he has coming for the Bitcoin funding team. If you want to leverage what other people are doing in order to get Bitcoin in your wallet, into your whatever, to set yourself up for a life of freedom. If you're tired of being losing out here, then you really need to listen to this call. Just sit back, take notes, listen to this 45 minutes. Listen, this could really change your life. Believe me here, this is something that you need to hear. Let's listen in as we hear these people talk about this wonderful chance, this wonderful opportunity that you have to change your life.
I do know I responded back to Mike and Troy, so somebody was hearing me there for a minute, but I must have been getting a little excited there, pushing some buttons. I've got people are calling me, people are texting me, people are emailing me while I'm doing introductions, and it's like, man, everybody's supposed to know this call is getting ready to come up, but everybody wants to do three-way calls. So, guys, we're just so excited about what's happening over here with the Bitcoin funding team. Tonight is the 2-week anniversary. 2 weeks into this, I tell you what, Scott, I've never seen growth like this, and we've been in this industry for over 20-plus years. I tell you, this thing just exploded coming out of the gate. You're going to hear tonight, folks, about crowdfunding, meaning Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin funding team, and it's just exploding around North America and starting to trickle out through the world. We've got our hands on something here, guys, that I believe is going to be the biggest play that Scott, myself, and a lot of the leaders on the call tonight we've ever seen, because most of us have never seen an opportunity put together like this one's put together. So I'm going to turn it over to my partner from Alabama. Scott, go ahead and take it away, brother.
All right, great being on the call, Brent. We got a special call tonight for sure. We've got a host of guests on here. And like you said, we're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking about crowdfunding, and we're talking about how people can change their lives forever and ever and ever. The cool thing about crowdfunding is we get an opportunity to help people out that really do need the help. The cool thing about Bitcoin, it is going and growing around the world at an unbelievable pace. You and I had an opportunity, Brent, back in 2009 to purchase Bitcoin for 10 cents. We laughed at it. We didn't think it was real. Guys, there's one thing that I want to tell you that Brent and myself missed. We didn't get told exactly what we needed to know about Bitcoin. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you have a checking account? Do you have a credit card account? If you do you make payments with your credit cards? Do you make payments with your checking account? Guess what? That is digital currency. Bitcoin also is a digital currency you're going to learn about tonight. But if we would have known back in 2009 that we were doing the same thing with our credit cards and we were doing the same things with our checking accounts, you know what? We would have been big-time investors in Bitcoin way back when, and we probably wouldn't even be on this phone call tonight, because Bitcoin went from 10 cents up to $400 this past summer, and then up to $1,000 on January the 1st. But here's what's really cool tonight. We got one of the smartest guys that we know about Bitcoin anywhere in the whole wide world. He's a friend of ours. We've known him for a number of years, and he had an opportunity to get involved with Bitcoin a long time ago because he lived over in Indonesia, and he had a chance to get into it before it ever got popular here in the United States. You know what's pretty cool? He's making like 200 Bitcoin per month doing Bitcoin mining and other things. And he told Brent and myself, he said, if there's any way you can find a way to get into Bitcoin, pay attention to it, look at it, and then seize the moment. Well, when we found something, the first person we called was Michael Alexander. We said, hey, Michael, take a look at what we got. See if this looks like something that's pretty cool. Well, guess what? Michael said it's pretty cool. And the good thing is he's on the phone tonight to tell everybody around the globe with us tonight a little bit more about Bitcoin and to give us a little bit of education. Michael, Alexander, welcome to the call. I guess maybe you're in Dallas tonight. I was going to say from Indonesia, but you're probably in Dallas, Texas, or somewhere in the U.S.
I am actually in the U.S. It's good to be back in the U.S. I'm actually up in Salt Lake City, but I will be in Dallas later in the week. But thank you, Scott.
You would educate us a little bit about Bitcoin tonight.
I will do the best I can. Everybody, we won't be able to go over everything that I'd love to share with you tonight because we have a limited amount of time, but I want to share as much as I can, and break it down as simple as I can. But for many people, when they first hear about Bitcoin, it's difficult to understand. It's difficult to explain. I recall when it was first brought to my attention, I didn't understand it either, just like Brent and Scott, and I passed on it. But fortunately, good friends of mine kept talking to me. They got in my face, they got in my ear, and I finally started to put it together. But one of the things that really impacted me is over the past few years, what we've seen in the world of Bitcoin. You know, when you see the world governments and you see the banks and you see the richest and most powerful people in the world and companies investing so much money, billions of dollars into this, you know something's going on. And a smart person would say, I need to check this out. I need to find out what's going on, because the wealthy are not going to invite us to their champagne and caviar parties. But when we go back in time, let's start there, and then we'll get into an explanation of really Bitcoin present and future for all of those that are maybe hearing about Bitcoin for the first time. For those of you that are lucky enough to have paid attention to it before now, I congratulate you. And obviously I don't need to tell you job well done, because you know it's a job well done. But we are definitely trying to help as many people wake up. And some people are starting to wake up, but most of the world's still asleep. And folks, that's one of the reasons why each and every one of us have such an incredible opportunity right now to seize the moment, because most people are not paying attention to what's going on in the world around them. But this is truly the biggest financial revolution the world has ever seen. And when we go back to 2009, January, over 8 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto, which is a synonym, it's a Japanese word or words that basically address that brain trust, the individuals, the very intelligent people that created the blockchain technology and the Bitcoin rewards. And very simply put, the blockchain technology is a very complex mathematical calculation that cannot be hacked. It's constantly changing. And over the years, since 2009, as Bitcoin is used by more and more people, that mathematical calculation becomes more difficult. In the early days, just about anybody could mine Bitcoin. You could get a computer that had enough power and you could have mined Bitcoin, you know, even 5 or 6 years ago, not even as far back as 8 years ago, even 5 or 6 years ago. But when you start getting back to within the last 3 to 4 years, the math required the very best computers, the most efficient. And in order to solve the mathematical calculations required that are involved in the verifying and validating of the Bitcoins that are being exchanged around the world. And when we look at what's going on the blockchain today, which is a public ledger, anyone can see the Bitcoins that are being mined and the Bitcoins that are being exchanged between people, because it's a public ledger. Again, I stress, it can't be hacked, which is why governments and businesses and individuals are using the blockchain technology to protect and secure things like diamonds and real estate, among many, many other things. It's really revolutionized the world, but the people that have been willing to invest big money into the global network of computer, literally tens upon tens of thousands of computers to mine the Bitcoin, they get paid about every 10 minutes when one of the blocks complete, a reward that started out at 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. When it first halved in 2013, we saw a lot of panic and paranoia because Bitcoin's rewards were cut in half for the miners, and the price shot up to well over $1,000. And, of course, it came back down because that was a bubble. People panicked, and when that happens, things, aren't normal. And it did correct, but the reality is that the scarcity back then that drove the price up as high as it did is not what's driving the price up today. You see, Bitcoin halved again 4 years later. About every 4 years, it's going to halve every 210,000 blocks, and it halved last year in July of 2016. And we saw coming up to that point the price of Bitcoin go up, and it went up again after the halving, but it didn't go crazy like it did in 2013. Why is it not so volatile today? Because people now know what they didn't know before. People now trust. And today it's the demand for Bitcoin that is giving it more stability and therefore more trust. Therefore, more businesses are starting to accept Bitcoin, and major businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses, as well as even the smallest merchants are starting to accept Bitcoin. And why do people want to use Bitcoin? Let's talk about what Bitcoin is. Because Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. A lot of people hear digital currency, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and all these other things, and they don't really know what they mean. And there's a lot of digital currencies in the world today. Most of them are scams. They are centralized, just like government-issued currency. It can be controlled and manipulated. They can manufacture or produce these digital coins out of thin air, with no checks and balances, no accountability, no responsibility, but yet they'll go out and unfortunately confuse people and con people into buying coins that are worth nothing because nobody trusts it, nobody wants it. And you don't want to be involved in that. Today, as an example, there's approaching today nearly 900 different digital currencies in the market. Now, there's some legitimate ones too that are decentralized, which is what Bitcoin is. Decentralized means no person, no company, no organization, no government, no bank, nobody can manipulate it or defraud it. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be shut down. The only way to shut Bitcoin down would be to shut down the internet and cut off all the electricity in the world, because that public ledger is on every single computer in the global mining network. So even if there was only one computer left, everything would reboot and we would be back in business. But I think we can all agree, maybe except for the end of the world, we're not going to see the internet go away or electricity go away, and we're not going to see Bitcoin go away anyway. And if those things happen, it wouldn't matter anyway. But for the average person, here is the power of Bitcoin. You don't need a middleman. You don't need PayPal or Western Union or a bank or any middleman to exchange value for value. That means person to person, peer to peer, or person to business or business to business can exchange something of value. It's a store of value, just like gold is a store of value, which is why people are calling Bitcoin digital gold. You can send it around the world in just literally seconds and minutes from one person to another, any amount. And it's anonymous. Your name is not attached to it. You have a private key. You have a private key, which is a combination of letters as well as numbers. It's a long private key for receiving. And, of course, there's also a private key for sending, and you want to make sure you keep that key very private, the one you send. You don't want to share that with anyone because they'd have access to your Bitcoin wallet. But, of course, we share the receiving key because we all want to receive as much Bitcoin as we can. And when you look back just 14 months ago, you could have bought Bitcoin 14 months ago in October, November of 2015 for around $250 a coin. Now, I imagine a lot of you on the phone know that Bitcoin today is selling for just under $1,200 a coin. It's gone in just over 14 months from $250 to almost $1,200. But that's not the best part. Because if you didn't buy it 14 months ago or a year ago or 6 months ago or 3 months ago, it's selling now for more. But don't fret, don't worry, because the price is going to continue to go up. If I were to have told you 14 months ago that absolutely it was going to go up in value, every single person on this call would have bought as much as they could afford if I could have guaranteed it. Well, as we look forward, as you begin to educate yourself and listen to what the experts are educating us on and really understand the dynamics and the mechanics of what's going on, in this space, we're going to see Bitcoin continue to go up. Most of the experts expect it'll triple or quadruple again in the next 12 months. Next year, again, expected to triple or quadruple, which would take it to over 10,000 a coin. But that's not even the best part. The best part is it's going to keep going up. In fact, most experts today believe that with the demand for the use of Bitcoin, as more and more people are getting wallets and using Bitcoin and acquiring Bitcoin, and as businesses are accepting it, that law of supply and demand, because the scarcity, there's less and less Bitcoin being mined, and more people using it, is driving the price up, plus the other factors I mentioned like trust. But if you knew beyond any shadow of a doubt that within the next 18 to 24 months, Bitcoin would be selling for 10,000 a coin, how many Bitcoin would you want to have in your possession right now? Well, I know that you would want to have as much as you could possibly get your hands on. But we want to give you the confidence and the insights, the knowledge, to try to help educate everyone so that you understand why I am accumulating as much Bitcoin as I can. People ask me all the time to sell Bitcoin. I say, I don't sell Bitcoin. I just accumulate Bitcoin because I know what its future value is going to be. But we're going to talk about how you can acquire a lot of Bitcoin tonight. But I want to bring it down to the most simplest explanation I possibly can for everyone that's perhaps hearing about Bitcoin for the first time today. If you go back in time, just 20 years ago, for some of you 25 years ago, but for most people about 20 years ago, you didn't have computers, and everyone laughed at Bill Gates when he came out later and said, one day everyone's going to have personal computers. And today, everyone that has a cell phone has a personal computer, a smartphone that's more powerful than the computers they used to put men on the moon. And so the world has changed. We've become a digital world. It's not that long ago, 20 years ago, where most of us were not sending and receiving emails. But what is an email? An email is a digital letter. When the internet was first introduced to any of us, most people, even today some people are still afraid, but most people back then were afraid to put their credit card on the internet. Now, why were people afraid to put their credit card on the internet? Even today, they're afraid sometimes, because of fraud. And merchants are afraid of fraud, and merchants pay high processing fees because of so much credit card fraud and stolen identities and chargebacks. And anyone that's ever been in business that's dealt with these merchant accounts know the games they play with holding on to your money and increasing the reserve amount, or sometimes even freezing. None of that happens with Bitcoin. There's no fraud. There's no waiting. There's no high transaction fee. It only costs pennies to exchange that store of value, this digital currency. It's digital money. It's digital gold, just like an email is a digital letter. But we live in a digital society today, and more you're going to see, just as we have with the adoption of credit cards, more and more businesses accepting Bitcoin, more and more people using Bitcoin. Because go back in time again with me, 35 years ago, it was hard to find a business 35 plus years ago that accepted credit cards. But over the next decade, a lot more accepted credit cards than today most businesses do. But the reality is it took time to adopt that. But if you've not read, I encourage you to read a book that Bill Gates wrote years ago talking about the speed of light. And he's talking about the speed of technology and how it's going to change the world. Back then, people thought it was science fiction, like he didn't know what he was talking about. But those things are all a part of our everyday lives now. It's going to happen with us or without it. And so I encourage all of you to take the time to really get your mind around what's going on. There is so much information out there that's available. The leaders that invited you onto this call will be glad to help you with the documentation and the information that you need to really understand this and why you want to avail yourself of it. And we're going to talk in a moment to the owner of a company that has put together something that is philanthropic in nature. It's a way for people to actually donate and make a difference and pay it forward. And in his wisdom, he's chosen Bitcoin as the form of exchange, which is the best way for us to exchange value between one another. And by paying it forward and helping others, we can obviously receive donations ourselves. He'll explain all that to you. But I encourage you to take a serious look at that, because literally for an out-of-pocket expense of about 10% of a Bitcoin, which is just over $100, you could literally build something here with this company that could pay you more than 80 Bitcoin a month. And as the price of Bitcoin goes up, you can do the math. You can figure out what that could mean. But I think it would change everyone's life on this call right now if you were receiving 80 plus Bitcoin every month, even with the price of Bitcoin, what it is today. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Scott. I've probably already gone over the time he gave me, but I'm going to turn it back to him so we can bring on our other guest speakers.
All right, thanks, Mike, for being on the phone. At the end of the day, guys, you know what? We say these calls every night that we do them. These are educational calls. Because at the end of the day, if you've never heard about Bitcoin in your life, you don't know how to make a sound decision. Brent and myself were in that same boat just 2 months ago. We heard about Bitcoin again. We didn't know what it had gone up to, and we didn't really know the real story. But here's the deal. You heard Mike say, how would you like to accumulate 80 Bitcoin in a month? And what if it could go up to between $3,000 and $10,000 like the experts are saying? Pay attention to this call, guys. Take a couple of more notes. I had a good friend of mine on the call. We went from a white-collar guy. I'm a motorcycle guy with my wife, and I own a motorcycle shop, and we're blue-collar. Brent owns a construction business. He's blue-collar. We got a buddy of ours on the line here that I'm about to introduce you to. He's from up in Missouri, and he owns and runs and manages and handles over 500 Black Angus every single day. And you know what? When you meet people and you find out that they're hard workers, it doesn't matter if they're white-collar. It doesn't matter if they're blue-collar. If they work, they're people that you want to talk to and you want to introduce to this opportunity, because there's a lot of people that are tired of busting their rear ends every single day, 24/7, and not really getting paid what they could. This is a guy, Eric Pinkston from up in Missouri. Eric, welcome to the call. We appreciate all the hard work you do. You're somebody that's upline of us in this opportunity, and you give us the greatest support that we've ever seen in any company, and we really appreciate it. If you would, hop on board here, brother. Talk just a minute about what's going on at Bitcoin Funding Team, and then introduce Mr. DeLuca.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, thanks a lot, Scott. Thanks a lot, Brent, for having me on tonight. You know, guys, I want to turn the switch here just a little bit. What Michael just told us on this call, I've never heard somebody speak about Bitcoin quite as eloquently as Michael just did. He gave you the nuts, the bolts, the ins, the outs, everything that you could possibly want to know about Bitcoin. But I'm going to go with a little bit different perspective than Michael. I'm going to put it back in the perspective of the small guy out here, like me and you, and somebody that hasn't been around Bitcoin a long time. You know, as Scott said, I'm just a small town boy. Grew up in a little bitty town of about 250 people. Run a ranch here where my family's lived all their life, and you know, with that said, you know, I want to relate to everybody out there that's on this call tonight for one reason. You know, if you just look at what's going on around you, and when I say look around at what's going on around you, I want to make sure that I'm talking to the numbers here, because just to take care of, we got so much stuff going on in our lives today. But one thing that my dad taught me at an early age in life was keep your eyes wide open and your antennas up. He always told me, and when I say that, I mean pay attention to what's going on around you and what's happening, because you never know when something's going to come across your radar that throws up something that you're really interested in, or you really want to pay attention to. Well, I got to tell you guys, about 18 to 20 months ago, I heard about Bitcoin, and I was kind of intrigued by it. My brother's actually a banker, and my other brother's a mortgage guy, and they brought it up to me. They told me about Bitcoin. So I dove in and learned a little bit about it, and in the meantime, I started to purchase a little bit of it. Way before I ever knew what Bitcoin really was, but I could buy it at a decent price, or what I thought was a decent price, and I was taking a risk with it. And as I grew and started to learn more about it, I went on YouTube, I went on all the internet channels, and I started to read about it, and I started to hear about it, and I started to gain a little bit more interest in it, and it started to gain a little more traction. But one of the things that really threw my switch on was there's some videos out there, and I would tell everybody, go on YouTube, go on the internet, look at and read every article you can about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is here to stay. It's the new digital currency for the ages. There are a lot of Bitcoins out there, as Michael said. There are a lot of coins like Bitcoin out there, but there's only one Bitcoin. It's the gold standard, in my opinion. It is the first, and as far as I'm concerned, will always be the king of coins. But when you go out there and you start looking at the information about Bitcoin, and you start looking at the people that are involved or buying Bitcoin, you can see the Bill Gates of the world, you can see the Warren Buffetts, the Charles Bransons, the Peter Thiels, the people with a lot of influence with big-time technology companies out there, and they will all say the exact same thing. If you could do one thing right now, that is buy as much Bitcoin as you can afford. Do you need to go out there and mortgage your home to do it? Absolutely not. Nobody do that. But if you've got a means to buy Bitcoin, get some of it. But here is the key. With Bitcoin Funding Team, you can take a one-time 0.10 and you can get on board with a bunch of like-minded people that want to show you how to leverage that 1/10 of a Bitcoin and turn it into full Bitcoins, and 2 Bitcoins, and 5 Bitcoins, and 10 Bitcoins, and 20 Bitcoins before the end of a month, or 90 days, or 45 days. You can turn that into as many Bitcoin as you want to try to get. Now, when I say potentially 80 Bitcoin, here's the reason that makes it so appealing for me, Bitcoin Funding Team. Guys, we're all built different. Not every person out there can get to 80 Bitcoin at the end of 30 days. But here's one of the things I really want to impress upon everybody. And I know Scott and Brent do this on almost every call, and it's made an impression on me. Two people finding 2 people, guys. 2 people finding 2 people, and they find 2 people, and they find 2 people. Every day, find 2 people, tell them about Bitcoin, ask them if they know what it is, ask them how many they've got. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the power of 2 is incredible. So if you'll do just that, don't look at when you're going to get to that 84 Bitcoin. Look at when you're going to get to that next Bitcoin. The next Bitcoin is what matters, okay? So at the end of the day, take a guy that goes to a 9-to-5 job. He makes $500 or $600, maybe $1,000 a week, okay? Let him go to work. If he'll just tell 2 people that tell 2 people that tell 2 people, I'm telling you guys, it's powerful. Now, combine that with what Michael just told us. Bitcoin's going to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a coin. Now think about this. If it takes you 30 to 45 to 60 days to just get to 5 Bitcoin, just 5 Bitcoin. If it goes to $3,000 a coin, that's $15,000 a month, guys. If it goes to $10,000 a coin, that's $50,000 a month. Those are life-changing numbers. We are getting ready to see one of the largest wealth transfers in our life. People that have money now are people that are very, very wealthy. If they don't get on board with Bitcoin, they're going to get left behind. People that don't have a lot of money, people that work 9 to 5, the blue collars as we call them, people like myself, be smart, guys. Get on board, get with the people that that you trust, your family members, make their lives a better place to be in the future. Get on board, get some Bitcoin. I'm going to close it out with this, guys. When I was a real young boy, my granddad farmed all of his life. He lived to be 86 years old. And from the time I was a little boy, 9, 10 years old, he always told me, he looked at me and he'd say, you see this land right here, son? He'd say, they're not making any more of it. Get all of it you can ever get. Well, let me tell you something, guys. In just a few short years, they're not going to be making any more Bitcoin. It's going to be done. It's going to be just like land. They're not going to make any more of it pretty soon, guys. And when that's out, you better own as much of it as you can. So everybody collect Bitcoin, Get with the person that got you on this call tonight. Get with the people that you trust, that you care about, that mean something in your life. As J.R. Hill always says, those fun tickets are all that matter. I'm going to turn it over to a guy right now that I got to know about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Gentleman always picked up the phone when I called him. We've just become really good friends. We befriended each other. He taught me a lot about Bitcoin. He taught me a lot about how people work. He taught me a lot about some of the things that are going on in this world. And you know what? I don't know that there's any person on earth that I respect more than this gentleman. He's always kept his word to me. He's always told me the truth. He's always been forthcoming. Sometimes he likes to bite my hand and snip at me just a little bit, but you know what? He does it because he wants to make me a better person. I want to introduce the owner of Bitcoin Funding Team, Mr. Thomas DeLuca.
Thank you very much, Eric, Michael, Brett. I want to start off with one thing. What is this? It's the Bitcoin Funding Team, keyword team. You know, it's Michael told you about what Bitcoin's going to do. Yeah, we all know about that. A lot of us did. We didn't believe it at first, and here it is. Here's Eric, a cattle rancher. Here's Brett, a motorcycle person. I got friends on this phone, and the one thing we've always tried to do every day of our lives is try to help somebody, okay? How can you help somebody? That's all that really matters in this world. You're only going to be left when you leave this world. You leave with who you helped. Who you helped. So business is difficult for a lot of people. It's very competitive. It's very cutthroat. It's a very mean world. So what did we look at? I looked at putting together a team. But what's the biggest thing you hear in the world when anybody talks to you? It's a scam. Oh, no, that can't work. Oh, no, you can't do this. You can't. It's all I ever hear, can't. And I've never been a can't man because I don't believe in nothing. The only person who will ever stop me in my life is me. But what about my friends? I got a lot of friends that have worked a lot of hours in a lot of different ways to do one thing, to support the people they love, the people that they care about, their friends. So what do we have to look at? Friends. Wow. How do we help our friends that have never been able to open and conquer the world of multi-level marketing, because that's as cutthroat as can be. There's more things that have gone wrong and stuff like that. Again, problem, friends, a system. Well, let's see. We found a system that's pure integrity. It's not about what we say or anybody else says. Our system speaks for itself. $100, 2 friends that trust you. And what's that mean? 2 friends that trust you. Not me, not your next door neighbor, not Joe clear across the world that trust you. So we put a system together that backs that up. They invested in you. We know how to pay it forward so you can move through the system. We put something that's just rare opportunity in the world. We've missed a lot of opportunities, Microsoft, gold. We can go down the list. We missed it. You don't have it. Did you buy acre? Did you go out there and buy some property when it was $5 and $10, $100 an acre? No, you didn't. When a new town was coming up, did you buy land? Well, I always have. I invested in the real estate. Like they said, you know why I did? Because they don't make any more. When I realized there was a limit to Bitcoin, they don't make any more. The key, it has to go to an infinite amount of money. So again, getting back, how do we apply this system? One with integrity. You hear that all the time. You heard more lies and more truths from different people all your life. Some were good, some were bad. So we put a system together that guarantees it, because you get 2 people and they pay you and not anybody else. So our system says it can't be scammed. Our system is better than anything ever put together before. No money is handled by me. I might handle the platform, but I don't handle it. You handle it. All money received goes directly to our friends through a system that ensures integrity, that ensures that they pay you. They don't pay me. They're not going to pay Michael. They're not going to pay Brent. They're not going to pay Eric. They're paying you. So a system that said if you got 2 friends and trust you, and they got medical bills, they got mortgages, they got people to take care of, they got some causes they want to help. Our whole motto is friends funding you for the things you need in life with the biggest time and the opportunity in the world that you'll ever get in your life. There'll be nothing like this. It's getting the Bitcoins. It's having the Bitcoins. You can't buy them, that many of them, at $1,200 a piece right now. But we put a system together, just leverage. $100 can change your world and change your life. That meant our average friend, the little guy still working at the store, the guy digging the ditches, the guy behind the desk, the teacher teaching for 30 years. There's nobody going to be left behind, because all they needed was two friends that trust them, because they're paying them. It all begins right there, because they got two friends and trust you. Those 84 Bitcoins are there. They're really there. Eric said, well, if you get 10, that can change your life. No, there's no stopping our system. The only one who stops our system is you. We found a way for you to help every friend that you ever cared about. Stop looking for the strangers on the internet. Stop looking for the strangers across the world. Stop looking for somebody you don't even know. You got somebody you grew up somewhere. All they got to do is trust you, because our system backs it. Our system's foolproof. It can't be changed. It can't be altered, because you get paid directly. So that's what we put together. Yeah, we handle the platform. Yes, we're not going to let somebody get in here and badmouth us and say stupid things, because they're not our friends. Our friends don't talk like that, and they don't handle us like that, and we're not letting anybody come in that's respect. We have churches lined up right now. We have women's shelters lined up right now. We've got some causes all over the world, and the Bitcoin funding team is going to donate our money, what we have, what you have. You want to give $5, you want to give $10. I've talked with bishops. I've talked with churches. We got people that are living somewhere else in different countries. When you make that, you don't need that whole 84 Bitcoins. You'll be able to be blessed and bless some others, and we're going to show you where, of your own free will, that the members around the world for the Bitcoin funding team are asking nothing from anybody. I was talking to some church bishops today. I said, no, you just can't come in. No, you can't be involved, because we want to show out the goodness of our heart with nothing given in return, that we'll help give you the money for the churches. We'll help let you heal the people that you need, that come to you on their last causes and walking on their knees and nobody else to turn to. That's for you to do, because we're going to be blessed for ourselves, and we're blessing for our friends, and we're going to ask our friends to bless you in return. So there's something a little bigger here than most people even realize. We're going to be able, as a team, help others. First of all, you have to help yourself. First of all, you got a family to take care of. There'll be no more medical bills you need. There'll be no more things. All from a lousy $100 from two friends that trusted you. Follow the system. The system is perfect. It accepts no mistakes. It won't take any excuses, and nobody can touch your money. So guess what? Those Bitcoins you're talking about, they're there to be had, okay? Our system's going to allow you 84, okay? 84. You know, they started talking about today it's worth $1,000. So 84 coins would give you $84,000 a month. If you're saving them and you go up to $2,000, that's $168,000 a month. If that's $3,000, that's $504,000. Those sound like a lot of money, but this is the first system ever put together that, yes, you can achieve it, because if you got two friends and they got two friends and they got two friends, you walk up the line, not an army, not 20, not the kings of the world, not the people that can sponsor anything. It took two friends, and you're going to impact their lives. We're engaging our friends and impacting their lives, and the system speaks for itself. Nobody can cheat it. Nobody can fool it, and 100% goes all your way to it. This is not multi-level. This is crowdfunding. You can donate voluntarily, and if you don't donate, you can't receive any donations. We're doing this on a system so you can receive. You give and you'll be blessed. In the long run, when this is built out, you'll give 5 times and you'll receive 62 times. Maybe you'll take several of those times and help a charity, help a cause, help somebody else, because there are a lot of people out there that need a lot of help. Right now, we figured a way to help our friends, our friends. I invited 2 friends, Eric and Sam, and it all began there for me inviting 2 friends. Look at these amazing people that you heard speak to you, Michael, Eric, Brent, Scott, Mark, Susie. I can name them all. There's just so many. All they're trying to do is help you. They invited you to this phone call for one reason. They cared about you. You know, they might have had to twist your arm and kicking and screaming, oh, here we go again, here we go again. But you know what? We built the system that speaks for itself. We can't do nothing. We'll manage it, and we'll manage this with integrity, and we won't take anybody disrupting the lives of the amount of people that we're going to help. There's some really famous people that have put their name behind here because you know why? They know it's going to help somebody. Our system's built. Look at it. There isn't nothing wrong. We're not perfect. There ain't going to be bell and whistle and fanciness and stuff like that. We're here to change our friends' lives. And then we can reach out and help some people that really need help. Back to you, Brett.
All right, this is Scott. I'm going to take it away on this one. And, guys, you've heard a lot tonight. You've heard a little bit about Bitcoin. You've heard about where it's been, where it's going. You've heard about Bitcoin Funding Team. You've heard from the owner of the company. Let me talk to you just for a minute, and this is the reason I'm on the call. I told you guys I've been self-employed for over 30 years on a motorcycle shop, on a paving business. We take Harleys from mile to mile. We pave Walmarts. We do all this kind of stuff. Brett's been in the construction business the same way. And you know why we're here? We are here because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is something that literally is going to change the people that get involved with it in the year 2017. It's a pivotal year for 2017. And you heard us talking about it's about $1,200 right now. It's going to go between $3,000 and $10,000 this year. If this was an investment call, it'd be a pretty good call, wouldn't it? But this is a call about leverage. This is a call about inviting your friends, as you heard Thomas say. Do you know two people that would like to change your life? You know two people that would like to literally maybe change the lives of their family for the rest of their lives. That's what can happen with Bitcoin. I want to tell you a little breakdown here of the way our funding program works so everybody can understand it. Because when you understand that you really can pick up 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, 60, 80 Bitcoin every single month, it is powerful, especially when you only started one time out of pocket. You heard Thomas say we invite our friends. This is about inviting two people that you know that have $100 that would like to learn something that could change your life forever. Here's the way it works. When you get invited to Bitcoin Funding Team, you come in and get started with 10% of a Bitcoin. Right now, it's about $120. We're going to use $100 for round figures just so we can break it down for you. So you get started, you're going to donate your $100 to the person that invited you where you fall in their team. And each one of us that gets started with Bitcoin Funding Team, guys, we have our own 2x5 platform. What that means is we have two people that we can introduce below us, and it goes down 5 levels. We always say the power of 2 is the strongest number in the universe. Because what happens is you go 2, 2 doubles goes to 4, 4 doubles goes to 8, then it goes to 16, and then 32. This is your 2x5 platform. Here's what happens. When you introduce 2 people, 2 of your friends, not 2 people that you don't know, 2 people that you know, and they get started, they're donating that same $100 back to you that you just donated to your friend when you got started. Here's the cool thing. Now you have the row of 4 where they invite their 2 friends. When they invite their 2 friends each, guys, now you got 4 people. You're going to receive 4 more donations when this row is qualified at $200 each. Pretty powerful, isn't it? Here's what happens, though. We've got a computer program that reminds us every time when it's time for us to upgrade and make another donation. And here's the simplicity of what we do. Every time we receive 2 donations on each level, it's time for us to upgrade. So when we received our first 2 donations on level 1, the computer says, hey, Scott, time to upgrade. So I make my donations, and that opens the second row. When I receive 2 donations on my row of 4, the computer says, hey, Scott, it's time to donate again. Here's the cool thing. When you go from from row of 4 to the row of 8, now you're going to receive 8 donations. It's over $400 each. Guys, that is pretty powerful. We say 248 duplicate. If you will teach and train this example we just gave you, you didn't sponsor all 14 people here. You sponsored 2. They sponsored 2 each, and they sponsored 2 each. 2, 4, 8. When all 3 rows are qualified, you just earned over 3 Bitcoin in your pocket, in your bank account. Let me tell you one thing before we go to the next level. It's also cool about Bitcoin. Once you get your own Bitcoin wallet, you can get a Bitcoin Visa credit card. And guys, anytime that you want to use any Bitcoin in your wallet, you can spend it anywhere. If you need gas in your car, if your kids need tennis shoes. But the biggest part is save as much as you can, because this year it's going to be really pivotal if you have a whole lot of Bitcoin. But we just want to let you know that if you need to spend it, you can. It's very simple to do. All right, let me take you to the next 2 levels, because the next 2 levels is where the power of Bitcoin Funding Team really comes in. We already talked about 248 duplicate and that putting over 3 Bitcoin in your pocket. Here's the next level. The next level is 16. When you have a row of 16 people that are qualified to donate to you, you're going to receive 16 donations of 1 full Bitcoin each, which right now is about $1,200 a piece. That's a lot of money. You know what the computer's going to do? It's going to say, hey, Scott, time to donate again. I'm going to donate 2 of those 16 donations. I keep the other 14 in my wallet, and now I advance on to level 5. Level 5 has 32 members, and you know what, guys? When these people are qualified, they are going to donate 2 Bitcoin each, 64 Bitcoin coming in right now at over $1,000 a piece. That's why we always ask a question. If there was a way that you could take $100 and turn it into $50 or $60 or $70 or $80,000 a month, would you like to hear about it? And even when people tell us you're crazy, we say, just because you think I'm crazy, is that any reason not for you to listen for about 15 minutes and get a little bit of education? Because one of the things we tell people all the time, when you listen to this call, you can go to your own computer and you can Google Bitcoin. You can Google Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and what they think about Bitcoin. You can Google, where can I spend Bitcoin? And guys, you're going to be blown away. Some people get it in 15 or 20 minutes. Some people it takes 15 or 20 days. And some people never get it. But again, the reason we're here is to help every one of our friends understand that Bitcoin really is real. And if you've ever wanted to be at the right place at the right time, we say Bitcoin is it. Golden opportunities come along once or twice in a person's entire lifetime. You know, most people never seize the moment. They never get it. How would you like to be able to get it this time for $100? Guys, it's been a great call tonight. I'm going to flip it back over to Brent, my business partner from Michigan. Take it away, brother.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Scott, Thomas, Eric, and Michael. You're exactly right. Everyone, you're here in the right place at the right time. You know, we do these calls Monday through Friday, 12 and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Saturday at noon is our training call. And then we have our Super Sunday call here every Sunday night to get everybody off to a fast start. Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, just like Scott just said. And we basically break companies down over the years, last 20-plus years. To have a successful companies, you better have the 3 Ps: the product, the people behind the business, and the pay plan. We definitely have the 3 Ps over here. We have a simple 3-step system that we've always used. And you heard Scott say, you asked the question. I can show you how to take a $100 bill, turn it into $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a month after month. Would you take 15 minutes and jump on a call? Get them on the call, become a good inviter. Then after the call, you've sparked your interest, guaranteed 100%. The third step is do a 3-way call with your upline. It's that easy, guys. The 3 Ps, 3 steps to success, 248 duplicate. You follow these 3 systems that we've put in place over here, and you will be successful. Bitcoin Funding Team, 100% guaranteed. That's why we're doing 12 calls a week to help you build your team. Guys, thank you so much. We ran, a little bit longer than what we thought tonight. We're about 10 to 10 here, East Coast time. We appreciate everybody's time. Once again, we'll be back here tomorrow, Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern time for our next call. Thanks, everybody, and have a wonderful evening. God bless.
Well, there you have it. I don't know how that you could say it any better than what was said on this call by the different participants on this call. 248 duplicate. Whether you get back with me or whether you get with someone that shared this call with you, you need to get started today. I can't urge you enough to get started today with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin funding team. This is the best, the fastest way to leverage yourself, to leverage the work of others in order to get Bitcoin for your future, for your family's future. With that, thank you, and we will see you on the next call.